It is said that in one area, an old dragon was seen tied to a chain and suddenly a human stabbed a sword straight into its chest, even though the dragon looked like a stone, but when the sword was pulled out, the blood was visible. The dragon really didn't think it would be like this to humans, even though it used to be like that. He is also on the side of humans and often helps humans, but this dragon is really kind. He thinks that what is happening is for his own good because he has lived for long enough since the time of the gods, but the era of this old holy dragon has come. Finally, on the verge of death, this dragon asked the god of death for a request. He wanted his soul to go away in peace and be able to sleep eternally, but he didn't know why. The dragon saw a speck of light. Then he heard the voice of someone happy, and when he opened his eyes, he turned out to be a baby. The dragon seeing humans who became his father and mother, that's where the holy dragon was reborn as a human named Dolan. In this life, Dolan really enjoyed the whole process, plus Dolan also had a friend who seemed to have a crush on him when he was little named Irie. Now Dolan's story begins. Dolan lives in a small village called Bern. This village is on the northern border of the Argras kingdom. Well, in this place he died. As a dragon, Dolan himself doesn't know why he can be reincarnated as a human. Dolan's do farming, so he works in the fields and he lives like a human. Only in this village there is a tradition, namely that children who are 15 years old or above are considered adults and have to live alone. Because Dolan is now 16 years old, so he is already, it's almost been a year since Dolan's life has been independent. He's really slow living. He can go fishing in the morning in the fields. Suddenly his friend asks about Dolan's activities tomorrow. Dolan says that he's going to go out to investigate where the lizard man lives. It's said that the lizard man is there and has been away from the swamp a month ago. Dolan wants to know the reason. Originally his job was a garrison soldier, but for some reason, Dolan was assigned there, but basically Dolan is a really green flag guy, so he's okay. Just being assigned like this, it's really cool. He got a big fish, he's even happier. After fishing, he went home to meet Mirinda and Albert. Yes, they just made small talk and asked about Dolan's preparations for tomorrow. Fortunately, Dolan's preparations were all finished. Anyway, he just had to wait until he got home. He immediately processed the results of his fishing. Oh yes, around this village there are also lots of devils and thieves who often pass by, because the city is densely populated. That's why security is always focused there, while those on the outskirts like this have to be guarded by themselves. In the afternoon, Irie came to remind them that they had a magic class. His magic was really strong, even the teacher was always amazed at the Dolan's talent. After finishing class, Dolan introduced by village chief to a beautiful girl named Christina. He said she was a noble lady, and when they met in person, Christina seemed to feel something like that from Dolan. He knew Christina was quite skilled. After that Dolan walked back to his house. As an ex-dragon, it turns out that life as a human is really difficult, especially when the weather is hot like this, but at least now Dolan is really enjoying his life. They went home to their parents' house and immediately ate together as a family like this. Dolan is really lucky, his reincarnation in a harmonious family. His parents are also really good, even though Dolan is already an adult, but they are always worried about Dolan who lives alone. In fact, they have already told Dolan to find a wife. Dolan's answer, like most other singles, is that he wants to be alone first. The news about Dolan's assignment tomorrow has also been heard by his family. His mother is worried about her beloved child, but his father still believes in Dolan's ability. Tomorrow, he just wants to check, so it's an easy task. The next day when Dolan is leaving, everyone pray for his safety. Suddenly Maguru grandmother says she has a strange prediction. The grandmother told Dolan to be careful. Irie also didn't want to be left behind. She made bento for Dolan's lunch. Dolan couldn't just keep quiet, that's why he went to investigate this case. After climbing the mountain through the valley, Dolan finally arrived at the swamps of the Lizardman place. It didn't take long for Dolan to immediately use his ability to detect the surroundings, and the conclusion was that the land spirit there was too strong and created a water spirit. So it's getting weaker. No wonder the Lizardman can't stay here, but suddenly there was a sound from the bushes. Dolan immediately got ready because he felt a strong demonic presence, but when the lamia monster appeared, it was the first time he saw Lamia, and Dolan is amazed by her beauty. Lamia started asking Dolan if he was alone here. She remembers the movements her mother taught her to fight humans by her charm, but instead it becomes an awkward dance. He wonder what the girl is doing. Suddenly a big monster appeared and targeted Lamia. Luckily, Dolan was quick enough to save her, but Lamia was really scared. Dolan tell her to hide her tail. When the monster go away, it was an earth spirit that had gone crazy, which is influenced by the surrounding environment, which is becoming unfavorable. Earth spirit that had gone crazy couldn't be cured anymore. She introduced her name was Selena. Dolan suddenly asked her to fight the spirit together, because he was still a noob. He know the lamia monster can be very useful for fighting land spirits, so it should be possible. Let Dolan be the attacker, because this is for her safety. In the end, they agreed that Dolan and Selena immediately took their respective positions, and wait for a signal from him. And go attack forward together with Dolan to block all the attacks from the land spirit, while Selena started to use her magic and a big snake appeared which wrapped around the land spirit. It's true the girl is still a noob, she couldn't hold back her magic for long, but it turns out that just that much was enough. Dolan immediately charged forward and used his magic and slashed the monster. It immediately melted and Selena took a mud bath and it got into her mouth. Luckily she wasn't hurt. Dolan thanked her and finally they became formally acquainted. He asking Selena to clean up first, but before that, don't forget to look at the drop crystals first. After that, they rested in the hut nearby. Dolan goes straight to cooking for dinner. It's also really nice to meet someone who isn't afraid of her, because for Dolan, Selena is different from other lamias, but Dolan is curious about why Selena is here. Even though there are no lamia settlements here, it turns out that when you're 17 years old, there's a rule that you have to go out on your own looking for a husband. Because the lamia race contains only girls, so they're just give birth to girls too, but if a boy is found, the child will join their husband's race. Well, lamia comes from a woman who was cursed by a snake, and the curse is also passed down to each of her offspring, because this curse also contains fluids in the lamia's body. It's all poison, so the lamia can only just look for a strong future husband, basically one who can withstand poison when kissing or make a baby. The man usually died from poison, so it's harder to find a partner. Selena keeps starting to chat. The problem with her parents is that they said they were going on an adventure too and treated her like a child. She thought that Dolan would treat him the same way she was, but Dolan thinks she is cute. After being fed by Dolan, he immediately melts because Dolan's mother's cooking recipe is really delicious. Selena also asked Dolan what about his family. Dolan said that he really loved his current family. Dolan realized that finally the era of the lonely dragon had really ended. Now his life had become much more colorful. In the morning, they decided to continue their respective needs. After shaking hands, Dolan know that lamia like life energy, so he think to give Selena his energy, but it seemed too much strong for her to handle. Selena immediately wanted to pass out before they separated. Dolan said that Selena had already got a husband. They were told to stop by the village of Bern because Dolan wanted to introduce them to his family. After separating, they continued their journey. The next day, two guys seen walking around. Suddenly they saw a cute girl. It turned out to be Selena, carrying a big bag. It looks like she's looking for a place to stay. They keep teasing Selena, saying it's dangerous for a girl to walk alone, but when they realized that Selena was a lamia, they immediately got scared and ran away. Selena was sad. If it's like this, how can she get a husband? Meanwhile, Dolan is practicing in potions class Grandma Magel. If we talk about magic potions, Aaron is actually superior to Dolan. Aaron also said to Dolan that he had to keep his spirits up. After telling Aaron to play outside because class was over, Grandma Magel talked to Dolan. Dolan thought that in his previous life healing magic was not needed, therefore he was very bad at this. Grandma Magel explained that he would teach Dolan slowly because there are no instant shortcuts in this world. After that, they invite to eat with Aaron family. When Ain's father was leading the prayer, he was just remembered that he had promise. Dolan immediately ran to the training ground, but suddenly he was stopped by Mew, who was half a cow. She was offered to drink fresh milk first. The milk is always spilling over. The taste of the milk is really delicious. There's no way Dolan can refuse it. In the end, he drank it first. Dolan continued running to the training ground and got there. Seeing Dolan coming, the children looked excited. They actually want to show their improvement to Dolan. Dolan has obeyed them, but suddenly he feels like there was an aura of a monster in the forest. Because he was worried, that night he tried to check there and had a feeling that this was definitely a monster, but for some reason it looked familiar. So when he got close, he found Selena, who seemed to be bathing in the middle of the forest. Dolan was very amazed by Selena's beauty. Selena, who felt embarrassed when approached by Dolan, told Dolan to turn around so he could put on clothes, but Dolan thought that there was nothing wrong if he admired her. So she slapped him first before he realizes people are afraid of her. It's not surprised that Selena is a lamia. She is known as a demon monster who is really hated. Dolan suddenly has an idea. He wants to invite Selena to live in the village with humans, but just Dolan positive thinking if the village residents can accept Selena. The problem is that in the village of Bern, there are already a lot of demi-humans and beastkin. So that it can be 100% accepted by the Dolan residents, they already have a plan. After that, Selena is honest. If she comes here, she's really looking for Dolan because she really likes Dolan's spiritual energy, so Selena can be given the opportunity to live with Dolan. He is willing to give it to Selena anytime and anywhere. 3 days later, the village guards found piles of meat and fish on the village road. It seemed like a monster had deliberately put it there. The problem is that there for 3 days in a row, they have received gifts like this, and if they look at the traces, they can already guess that this must be a lamia, but because lamias are dangerous, they don't want to take the risk and immediately hold a village meeting. Actually, lamias are really rare, but they are also confused about why there is an evil who gives them gifts every day like this. Baron has insisted on making an attacking army, but this village has a crisis of soldiers. If everyone loses to lamia, it will put the Bern village in danger. The next day while at Dolan's meeting outside, Dolan is collecting firewood, hoping to explain to the villagers what Selena's true character is. But Magel's grandmother speaks up and tells them not to rush. Erin came with the results of the prediction, and the prediction said that this one didn't mean anything evil. Hearing that, Dolan was immediately very happy. In the afternoon, Dolan immediately ran to Selena's place. Dolan wanted to talk about their final plans for the next day. Baron led the troops to practice outside. These kids were amazed by Baron. They felt that he was really cool. Baron's son was immediately very proud of what his father said. Albert told Dolan that important people in the village were gathering here. Dolan also knew, but precisely because of his presence, they planned to help Selena succeed. Baron is the leader of the army of soldiers in this village, and her deputy is Marita, and there is also Leticia, who is also the priestess of the goddess Miral. Leticia's role is very important because her words represent the goddess, so Selena must be able to give a good impression to Leticia. Alone, she was shaking in the forest. She was really nervous, so the plan was that they would create a scenario where Dolan would pretend to be attacked by a monster and Selena would save Dolan because there was a nest of sharp rabbits near here. Dolan would deliberately break down his nest, right there. Selena can appear and save Dolan. If the local people look closely, Selena won't be labeled as an evil devil. But just as they are about to join the group, suddenly there is a soldier who screams when he sees a monster. They think the lamia has appeared. Selena was also shocked. She thought, was there another lamia besides her here? But he found out that it wasn't a lamia, it was an armored bear monster. The kids were all running around, but the kid just didn't see her. Dolan immediately started looking for the kid. He was really confused. If he wanted to save the kid, he had to use his dragon power, but he was afraid that everyone would know his true strength. But it turned out that at the same time, Selena also jumped in to protect them. Dolan and the others were really shocked to see Selena became a shield for them. Selena immediately used her evil eyes to order the bear to go back to the forest. The bear immediately obeyed. Selena immediately asked about their condition. The little one said it was okay. Suddenly Baron wanted to attack her. He also told Toro, and Dolan keeps away from Selena. Dolan doesn't want to move. Selena is already the savior of the times. He's still in doubt, but still determined to be the protector of the village. He doesn't want to take risks. Dolan is no less adamant. He says there's no teaching about returning kindness with kindness. He kept asking Selena if she was the one who gave offerings to the village. Selena, who was still nervous, answered yes. Selena also started to prostrate herself while begging to be allowed to stay in this village. Even Selena didn't mind if she only stayed temporarily. Selena kept saying that she couldn't possibly hurt humans because her father told her. The people who saw Selena started to feel sympathy. They also didn't feel the dangerous aura from Selena when they just wanted to ask Letia's opinion. Letia is getting a revelation from the goddess Miral. The revelation said that Selena is a good lamia, especially since Selena has also been trying to cover her eyes so that the humans in front of her don't worry about getting the evil eye. Leticia thinks that Selena is no threat for the villager. In the end, it's settled. Selena is accepted to live in the village of Bern. All of a sudden she immediately fainted because she ran out of blood. After being treated, Selena was given a house by the villagers. It's really nice. The house has been prepared. It's complete with the interior, and there are lots of people who donated pillows and dolls for her, including Baron. Selena really thanked them all. They also apologized for being suspicious of Selena and promised to take care of Selena, and finally it was Dolan's turn to welcome Selena. They pretended to be acquaintances. They can continue their peaceful village life. Next morning, Dolan was really happy because Selena was welcomed by the villager. Dolan think this because of the gift from God's mural, his old friend. Last night, Dolan did astral projection and going to the 7th heaven. It turns out that even though he became human, his soul was still a dragon. Finally he arrived at the residence of the gods and goddesses. Dolan wanted to meet Miral. After all, Miral was really happy. Finally she was able to meet Dolan again, so Dolan wanted to say thank you for her help yesterday about Selena. Apart from that, Dolan was also confused. Why does Miral know that Dolan is dragon? Miral said she can hear from human prayers, everything is fine, even though when Dolan was a dragon. His past life was in a mess because of loneliness. Even when the hero stabbed him in the chest, Dolan was actually rather grateful. He just gave up that the era of dragons was over, but once he became a human, Dolan realized how precious a life was. Miral was happy because of his friend had a new life. Early the next morning, Selena has arrived at Dolan's place. She really excited to wake up Dolan because they already made a promise with Christina, but he sem forget it. In the capital city, people are really busy talking about women and young girls gone missing. Meanwhile in the palace there was a girl who was in a hurry to give a letter to her boss, so here the servants are all fairies and this blonde elf is the head of school. It didn't take long for him to immediately read the contents of the letter from Christina. The letter explained Christina's life while being in Varan village. Christina has also practiced sparring with Merida. Merida, who is known as a great warrior, was also overwhelmed when she fought Christina, but Merida was still confident because she was not serious before, but it's the same with Christina too. They still have the strength when they're both serious. They immediately start fighting swords really fast and suddenly Merida's sword bounces, so this time Christina is the winner, but even though Christina wins, she still keeps on praising her. Maybe so that Merida doesn't hate her, while blushing. After practicing, Christina was immediately ridiculed for eating with Baron and the others there. She felt that the residents of Burn village were really friendly, they didn't look at outsiders. Even Baron's family often teased her to go dinner at his house too. Christina seems polar here, she's so pretty, even lots of village girls like to look at her. Suddenly Baron just came and asked Christina to have a drink, but Albert immediately told her to refuse because it's only natural that drinking is really not good for women. After that night she still can't sleep. She then go practice in the middle of the night. Not long after that, Selena and Dolan came along. Selena, who was sensitive, knew that Christina was sad. She invited Christina to play at her house. Selena immediately showed the spot that she liked the most, namely the mattress. She invited Christina to try lying down on her mattress. Christina was hesitant. Dolan kept telling Selena not to force her because it's for lamia. Christina, who is sensitive, just lays down there, but it turns out it's really soft and comfortable. There are lots of pillows too. Selena's confiding session begins. She talks about her feelings of fear the villagers didn't accept her, but it turns out the people here are all kind. Selena is so grateful to be able to live here. She also told about Baron wife who give delicious milk to the villager. She said the milk was really delicious. She even challenged the villagers to a drinking contest. They continued talking about other villagers. As soon as Dolan talked, these girls realized why Dolan was still standing there and told him to join with them. The next day as usually, people just gathered to drink milk at Baron place. Baron is very proud of his wife's milk. He's most happy when the villagers enjoy drink his wife's milk. Suddenly Selena came with Christina. She immediately said that she wanted to try the milk from his wife. Baron was so proud of his wife. After one drink, Baron realized Christina is a quiet drinker. He challenged her to a drinking match. The match began from a glass to a glass after another. In a short time Christina is still very fresh even though Baron is already starting to get drunk. In the end Christina is an easy win. Dolan said if she should not force herself to drinking. All of a sudden Baron wife came to Christina while carrying a glass. She wanted to ask Christina to try her child's milk too. After trying to drink she said it was delicious and was so sweet. Christina finally familiar with the people in the village. That's the contents of Christina letter. The principal is really happy because Christina is happy there. Suddenly someone knocks on the principal's door. It turns out that on the same day the palace is holding a banquet and gossip about Christina, who is friends with Lamia. It turns out it has spread everywhere, but because Lamia's image is bad, Many people don't like the idea human and lamia getting together, so they are tired of spreading rumors that happen. Suddenly the Governor General, named Kara, approaches the principal. She wants to be told in detail about the rumor. She wonder why lamia is an evil devil, so she has to be wary of that. Is there connection with the missing persons case lately? The principal immediately defended Selena and said they already get a revelation from Dewey Miral gods, but Kara is prepared for the worst case. She wanted to call Selena to the capital, and looking for the person in charge of Burn Village. The person who was in charge of Burn Village appeared and he will take care everything in Burn Village. Meanwhile in the village, Dolan, Selena and Christina are having fun planting potatoes again. Selena is done planting it, while Christina was really enthusiastic about making a hole. Suddenly the guard came and told Dolan and Selena to go to the village gate right now. When they got there, Dolan and Selena were immediately surrounded by soldiers. It was already like they were going to catch a thief. Gorda, the person in charge of the northern region, declared that Selena must be brought to the capital. Right now, the priest immediately spoke up to defend Selena, but Gorda still insisted on the security of the country. He said even though Selena had been recognized by gods, Gorda still obliged Selena to follow the procedures, if you want to become a good citizen. Even though it's a bit complicated, Selena just agrees. As the person who brought Selena to the village, Dolan felt responsible and would accompany her to the capital. After they left, Christina felt something was odd, so she wanted to talk to the principal about this first. Using her wind magic, Christina went running straight to the capital. Meanwhile in train, Dolan was still worried about Selena. Selena didn't pay any less attention either. She gave Dolan her blanket too. But Selena still doesn't like everything. She thinks if it's because of her, everyone will be in trouble. Then Dolan just gives Selena a hand so that she can calm down. After that, Christina arrived in the capital. She immediately broke into the principal's room. There's no need to explain at length to the principal. She already know what Christina wants to say. She immediately invites Christina to chat and drink tea to relax. According to the principal, as long as there is a revelation from the goddess, Selena won't be executed, but because Selena is called by Kiran, whose position is very high, so it's possible that something will happen. Meanwhile, Dolan and Selena, who were lying down, were suddenly woken up by the soldiers. He tell Commissioner Gouda had something to talk about.